HTML images. Images can improve the design and appearance of a web page. Here we have some pictures, and here we have the example. So here we have inside angle brackets, we have the image, we have the source, we have the equal sign, and then inside of the double quotes we're gonna have the peak underscore truly that JPG. Then we're gonna have the all property equal sign Italian truly. So here we have another example that is gonna be pretty much the same one, but the alt is changing from Italian truly to girl in a jacket. And we can go to Visual Studio Code and we can check out those examples. So we're gonna go to Visual Studio Code. I have a folder named test. Inside of this folder I'm gonna create a file named test.html. So, and now I'm gonna press shift exclamation mark. Okay, so I press control plus, so it's gonna make the font a little bigger. I'm gonna save it, and now I'm gonna let's grab this example first. Let's grab this example to see what happens. So we go to Visual Studio Code, and inside of the body we're gonna paste it. So we have the image, we have the source, and the alt. So we're gonna see these concepts in a while. We're gonna save it, and then we're gonna go to our test.html file, or whatever name you name it. So open with live server. We're gonna open it with live server, and now we're gonna have we have Italian truly. So we're gonna have the old Italian truly. Why we don't get the picture? Well, because we don't have it in our test folder. So I'm gonna go to Visual Studio Code. I think it's gonna be this one. Okay, let me see. This one is design Italian. Let's look for it. I'm just gonna go here, and it's gonna be this one. So I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it here, and make sure that it's in your test folder. So be careful when you're using pictures from the websites. Some have copyright. I'm using this from the w3schools.com for educational purposes. So now I have it, it's right here. So I have it in my test folder. So now when I go to the website that we created, this is the one. So we can see it here. And when we don't have it, that's the reason that we have the alt. So that is that, but we're gonna see all these definitions in a little bit. So let's try this one, the second one. We're gonna go to the Visual Studio Code. I'm gonna go to my test.html file, and I'm gonna replace it. Okay, so again I have the image, I have the source, and I have the alt. So the source is gonna be the same. It's gonna be this time is gonna be this one. I have it from the previous video, but it's gonna be img_girl.jpg, and the alt is gonna be girl in a jacket. So I go to the website, and there you have it. So but what happens if we didn't have this picture, or we just misspell it? Let's say instead of girl we put girls. So that is when it comes in handy, the alt. And if you mouse over it, you can see this attribute defines an alternative text description of the image. Note, browsers do not always display the image reference by the element. This is the case for non-graphical browsers, including those used by people with visual impairments. If the user chooses not to display images, or the browser cannot display the image because it is invalid or unsupported type. So you always, when you mouse over some elements, you can read the information. So we're gonna go to the website, and there you have it. So I misspell it, but the all has an information, and the all here says girl in a jacket. So that is what we have here. Now we're gonna have, let's say, another example. We're gonna have this one, and okay, I'm gonna go here inside of the head body, inside of the tag body. I'm gonna save it, and in this case we have the image, we have the source, and this time the source is equal. Inside double quotes we're gonna have img underscore chania dot jpg, and the alt is gonna be flowers and chania. So I don't have that picture here in my test folder, so when we go to our website it has to say flowers and chania. So, and I think it's this one here, it has to be this one here. So let's save it. There's gonna be the third picture, so let's save it. Okay, html.html, no, it doesn't let me save it here. So let's go, I mean, if you click in here, try it yourself. Okay, so this is the picture. We can just save image as, and there you have it. So make sure you save it in your folder that you're working with. I am working with my folder named test, so this is where I'm gonna save it. So now I'm going to my test folder in my Visual Studio Code, and as you can see, it's right here. So right now if I go to the website, it should be working, and there you have it. So it's working. So that is done for this example, and now we're gonna go into the theory. HTML images syntax. The HTML inside angle brackets img for images tag is used to embed an image in a web page. Images are not technically inserted into a web page. Images are linked to web pages. The image tag creates a holding space for the reference image. The image tag is empty. It contains attributes only. It does not have a closing tag, so we don't have the inside angle brackets /img, for example. The image tag has two required attributes, and we already saw that we have the source and the alt. The source specifies the path to the image, and the alt specifies the alternate text for the image. So remember, the alt specifies an alternate text for the image. Every time if you misspell the name of the picture, or you don't have the picture, that is when it comes in handy, the alt. For example, here in this example, we don't see the alt, but for example, if I misspell it, instead of chania I put, I don't know, chanias. Okay, so I save it. We're gonna see the alt, that is gonna be flowers and chania. So we go to the website, and there you have it, because I misspelled it. So I'm gonna spell it right. We're gonna go here, and yeah, it's working here. So now, okay, so now this is the syntax, and the syntax is inside angle brackets we're gonna have the image, and it's gonna be img. Outside of that we're gonna have the source, and the source is gonna be equal to the double quotes URL space. We're gonna have the alt equal sign, and inside double quotes we're gonna have the text. In this case is alternate text. So again, this is the syntax. Inside the angle brackets we have the image, and then we have the source and the alt, and as you can see, these two are required. So the source attribute src, the required src source attribute specifies the path, the URL to the image. Note, when a web page loads, it is the browser at that moment that gets the image from a web server and insert it into the page. Therefore, make sure that the image actually stays in the same spot in the relation to the web page. Otherwise, your visitors will get a broken link icon. The broken link icon and the alt text are shown if the browser cannot find the image. So again, we already saw this example. We have the image, we have the source, and we have the alt. This is the image, the name of your file, your picture, and the alt is whatever is the description that you want to have of this picture here. So we already saw that example. Now we have the alt attribute. The required alt attribute provides an alternate text for an image. If the user for some reason cannot view it because of a slow connection, an error in the source attribute, or if the user uses a screen reader, the value of the alt attribute should describe the image. So again, in this example, if we mess up, if we misspell the image underscore Chania, or we simply don't have this picture, the alt is gonna describe, it should describe this picture. So in this case we have flowers and Chania, and that is what we have here. If a browser cannot find an image, it will display the value of the alt attribute. So we have here, we have here another example, but for example, we're gonna grab it and we're gonna go to Visual Studio Code, we're gonna paste it, and it's gonna be in line 12. So we have the image, we have the source and the alt, but the source we have wrong name that GIF. In our test we don't have that picture, we don't have that GIF. So but we have the alt, so it's gonna be flowers and Chania. When we go to our website, we can see this picture, but this is for the previous picture. So again, I'm just gonna comment it. So I'm gonna go angle brackets, the exclamation mark, double hyphen, and just before the final I'm gonna put here hyphen, double hyphen. I'm gonna save it, and now here we have flowers and Chania. Because we don't have this picture, we don't have this file, wrong name that file, but we have the alt. So that is, it works. Here we have a tip. A screen reader is a software program that reads the HTML code and allows the user to listen to the content. Screen readers are useful for people who are visually impaired or learning disabled. Now we have image size, width, and height. You can use the style attribute to specify the width and height of an image. So now we're gonna grab this example, and I'm gonna go to Visual Studio Code. I'm just gonna delete those two. I'm gonna delete those two, and I'm gonna go here. It's gonna be in line 11. I'm gonna save it, and let's see. We have the source is gonna be image underscore girl.jpg. And I have this file here, and I have this picture. It's gonna be this picture. So if you don't have it, you can just go to visually to the W3 school, and let me see. I think it's gonna be this one. Yeah, it's gonna be this picture here. So you can grab it, save it, and you can work with that. So again, we have in the line 11 we have an image, we have the source, and the source is the img underscore girl.jpg. We have the alt, that is a description of the source. So the alt is a description of the source, so girl in a jacket. And now we have a style, and the style is gonna be equal. Then you have open double quotes, and we have the width colon 500 pixels semicolon, height colon 600 pixels, and then we have a final semicolon at the end. But if you want to add another attribute, but I'm just gonna delete the final semicolon. So we can go to our website. It's gonna be this one, and there you have it. This is a 500 pixels width by 600 pixels height, so it's kind of big. So I'm gonna go for 50 pixels width, and the height is gonna be 60 pixels. So I'm gonna save it, and it has to be smaller, as you can see. So that is how it works, the width and height. So that is that for that example. Alternatively, you can use the width and height attributes. So again, we have the image, this time we have the source, we have the alt, and now instead of using a style equal sign and then the double quotes, and inside of the double quotes we write the width semicolon the height, we use the attributes width and we use the attributes height. In this case, style is the attribute, and here width and height are the attributes. So let's just grab this example, and we're gonna work with this one. I'm just gonna paste it here, and now again we have a width of 500 pixels, and we have a height of 600 pixels. So, and again, the width and height are attributes. So the source is attribute, the alt is an attribute, and this one, width and height are attributes too. And if you mouse over it, you can get some information about this attributes. So if we go to our website, again the picture become bigger because it's 500 by 600 pixels. So we go to Visual Studio Code and just gonna go, I don't know, let's go for half. So it's gonna be 250 pixels, and the height is gonna be, let's say, 300. So it's gonna be, it has to be reduced in half. So yeah, it went kind of smaller. So that's how you do it. So you can use either way. The width and height attributes always define the width and height of the image in pixels. So that is the reason I didn't have to use, for example, I just type in 250 instead of 250 pixels. But if I do that, for example, if I do, let me see, if I just do that pixels, if I add it, and if I go to the website, it's gonna be the same thing. But you don't need to do that. You just type in the numbers straightforward. So again, the width and height attributes always define the width and height of the image in pixels. Always specify the width and height of an image. If width and height are not specified, the web page might flicker while the image loads. So now we have width and height or style. So width, height, or style. The width, height, and style attributes are all valid in HTML. However, we suggest using a style attribute. It prevents style sheets from changing the size of images. So what do we have here? So we have this style inside of the head. So let's grab this style that is going to be inside of the head. It's going to be here. I'm going to go for, it's going to be from lines 9 to lines 13. So we have the style head, and inside of the style we're gonna have the image. So we open curly braces, and the width is gonna be 100%. So we close curly braces and we end the style tag. So that's pretty much. We're gonna delete this one, and we're gonna copy some information here in the body. And now in the body we're gonna grab and we're gonna copy these two. So I have in lines 18 and 20 we have the image and we have the source, and we have this HTML file that GIF, and I don't have this image in our test, so I'm just gonna get it. Let me see if I just go to Google, and it's gonna be this one. I'm gonna go to images. It's gonna be this one. I'm just gonna grab it. No, it's not gonna be this. Let me see. Okay, so I'm gonna go here. Try it yourself. And I'm gonna grab this one. I'm gonna save image as, and it has to be. And I'm gonna save in programming, JavaScript, and it's gonna be test, and I'm gonna save it here. So what is the name? HTML.gif. So HTML.gif. So I have this picture. So let's see what happens if I go to the website. Okay, so it's working. Alright, so I go to my test.html file, and okay, so the source is the same, HTML file.gif. So the source are the same, the alt are the same. Inside double quotes we have the HTML5 icon, and now now in the line 18 we have the width attribute, and we have also the height attribute. So here we have the width is going to be set to 128, and the height is going to be set to 128. But now in lines 20 is going to be the same, but now instead of having the width and height attribute, we have the style attribute, and inside of the style attribute we use equal sign, double quotes, and inside of that we're gonna have the width set to 128 pixels, semicolon, and the height column is gonna be set to 128 pixels. So when we go to the website, we have two images. So why are different? So because line number 18 is the width has 128 and the height 128, and in the line 20 the width is 128 pixels and the height is 128 pixels. So why are the same? Well, because in the line 18 the width 128 is being overridden by the style tag here, because it's gonna have a width of 100%, so it's gonna override it. That is the reason. But in the second one, in line 20, we use the style property, a style attribute. I mean, that is the reason it's not overriding it. For example, if instead of width 100% we have width 128, both would look the same. So let's see what happens. So we're gonna put width 128%. Oh no, because this is a percentage. So we're gonna go here, and okay, here the first image uses the width attribute set to 128 pixels, but the style and the head section overrides it and sets the width to 100%. Okay, the second image uses the style attribute to set the width to 128 pixels. This will not be overridden by the style and the head section, but we can play around. We can put, I don't know, maybe 50%. We're gonna save it and let's see what happens. We go to our document and it looks a little bit smaller one, so we go for I don't know 25%, and we go to, yeah, they're kind of similar now. So but that's kind of like the difference, why using the style attribute is more preferable per se. So that is that example. Images and another folder. If you have your images in a subfolder, you must include the folder name and the source attribute. So here in this example we have the source, but the file is inside of a folder. Okay, so that's pretty much the only difference. So we're gonna grab this example, we're gonna go here inside of the body, and I'm gonna paste it, and we're gonna delete here the lines number 9 to 13. So alright, so now I'm gonna save it, and now we have in lines 12 we have the image, we have the source. So we have a folder images, and inside of the folder we have a file named html5.gif. we have the all that is describing the source, html5 icon, and then we have the style with a width of 128 pixels and a height of 128 pixels, but it's not gonna work. So we go to our document and it's not working. Why? Because we don't have a folder named images here, and inside of that folder images has to be this file, the file that we have here. So I'm gonna create a new folder named images. Okay, so now we're gonna move this file here, this file that we have, that we grab it for the W3 school, and I'm gonna move it to images. Are you sure you want to move it? Yes. So now the file html5.gif is inside of the folder images, so it should be work right now. It should be working, and it's working. So that is that. And for example, if you go to the image source inside of the double quotes, so you have to put in the source, you put equal sign and then double quotes, and now you just can type /, and you can pick from this folder. So we only have one folder here, images. So I'm gonna press enter, and then there has the file that we have in that folder, that is html.gif. So I press enter and you save it, and it works. So that is that for that example. Images on another server / website. Some websites point to an image on another server. to point an image on another server, you must specify an absolute full URL and the source attribute. So here we have the image, we have the source, and we have the alt. Again, you have these two attributes, the source and the alt, that are required. And inside of the source we have double quotes, and inside of the double quotes we have this full URL, that is the https://www.w3schools.com/images/w3schools_green.jpg. So we're gonna grab this example and we're gonna go to Visual Studio Code. I'm gonna delete this one here. I'm gonna paste it. So now I go to the website, and there you have it. So why we have this picture, why we saw this picture, we don't have it in our test folder, but we are able to see it. Why? Because in the source, in the Visual Studio Code, in the source is directing to a full URL. So if we just click at this one in another tab, we can see this full URL. It's gonna be 3W school all the way up to the schools_green.jpg. So that is why. And if you mess it up, I don't know, let's say instead of 3W school you just put just school and you save it, what's gonna happen is you're gonna get the alt, that is gonna be 3wschools.com. So we're gonna go to the website, and there you have it. Note: on external images might be under copyright. If you do not get permission to use it, you might be in violation of copyright laws. In addition, you cannot control external images. They can be suddenly removed or changed. Now we have animated images. So we have the HTML allows animated GIFs. Okay, so now we have this, we have the image, we have the source, we have the alt, and now we have the style. So we're gonna have the programming.gif, and if I go to my files here, I'm gonna delete this example, I'm gonna paste it here. We're gonna grab this example, we're gonna paste it. So but we don't have the programming.gif pic. So if I click here, try it ourselves, it's gonna be this one, this GIF. So I'm gonna save it, save image as, and I'm gonna go right here, I'm gonna delete this one, I'm gonna save it here. What is the name? It's gonna be programming. Okay, cancel, save it again, it's gonna be programming. Okay, so you just save it, I'm gonna save it in my folder test. So now, okay, so now we have it in the programming.gif, so it's working. So again, we have in line 12, we have the image, we have the source, we have the alt, and we have the style. In the source we have the programming.gif, that is this file right here, this one. Okay, this one. Then we have the alt, that is a description of the source, computer name, and then the style, that is going to be width 48 pixels and height 48 pixels. So when we go to our website, it should be working, and there you have it. So that is now image as a link. To use an image as a link, put the image tag inside of an A tag. So you have the A tag, and inside of that you have the image. So we're gonna grab this one, and we're gonna go to Visual Studio Code. I'm gonna go to the test, my test file, test.html file. I'm gonna paste it. So again, we have the A tag, href, that is gonna be to the default .asp. So I'm gonna change it. So I want to go here to the 3W schools. Oh, let me see, 3W schools. See, yeah, this is the one. I'm gonna grab this example, and I'm gonna paste it here. I want when I click the image, I wanted to send me right here to this website. So we have the A tag, we have the href attribute equal sign, and double quotes we have the URL of the W3 schools. Okay, we close the angle brackets of the A tag, and now we open angle brackets of the image tag. So in the source we have the smiley.gif picture that is gonna be, I have it here, it's gonna be, oh I don't have it, this one is gonna be, oh it's gonna, no I don't have it, it's gonna be a smiley. Okay, I think I deleted. So let's just grab it, let's click here, try it yourself, and it's gonna be this picture here. So I'm gonna save it, and I'm gonna save it in my test folder. So now I have this icon, this smiley.gif, and I go to Visual Studio Code, and it's gonna be this one. So yeah, it should work now. So now we have the source, we have the old, that is gonna be HTML tutorial, the style is gonna be 42 pixels, and the height 42 pixels. So it's already saved. So when I go to the website, I'm gonna get the smiley that GIF. But when I click it, it has to send me to this link. It has to send me to the link, to this link to the W3 school. So let's see what happens. I click it, and boom, it sends you to the w3schools.com. So that's how it works. Image as a link. So now image floating. Use the CSS flow property to let the image flow to the right or to the left of a text. So now we have a paragraph, and inside of the paragraph we have the image. We have the image with the source, the old, the style. We close the paragraph, and then we have another paragraph with the image, source, old, and style, and we close the tag paragraph. So the difference here, okay, we have the source smiley.gif, smiley, the style is going to be, the style is changing. So here in the first one, in the first paragraph, we have the style, equal sign, double quotes, float, colon, right, semicolon, width 42 pixels and height 42 pixels. So the float colon right, so it's going to be moving to the right. In the second paragraph, and the style attribute, equal sign, double quotes, we have float colon left. So that is what is changing. So one is going to be moving to the right and one to the left. So let's just grab this example. Let's go to Visual Studio Code, and it's going to be inside of the body. So let's save it, and let's see what happens. So we're going to go to our website, and I don't know what happened here. So let's open it again. Okay, so again the image will flow to the right of the text. Okay, this one, and the image will flow to the left of the text. So that's how it works. And the only difference here, the only difference is in the line 12 we have a paragraph, we have the image, the source, the old, but in the style attribute inside of the double quotes we've put float colon right. So that is the reason this picture, this GIF is floating to the right. Now in line 15 we have the paragraph, the image, the source, the old, and in the style attribute we have inside of the double quotes we have float colon left. That is the reason this smiley.gif is floating to the left. And that is pretty much that for that example. Okay, so they give you, if you want to learn more about it, you go to this link. Now we have common image formats. Okay, so here are the most common image file types which are supported in all browsers: Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Safari, and Opera. The abbreviation, we have the APNG, the file format animated portable network graphics. File extension is .apng. Then we have the GIF, that is the abbreviation, the file format graphics interchange format, the file extension .gif. We have the ICO or ICO, Microsoft Icon, file extension .ico, .care. Then we have the JPEG, Joint Photographic Expert Group Image, and the file extension are these ones. So we have the .jpg, comma, we have the .jpeg, comma, we have the .jfif, comma, .pjpeg, and finally the .pjp. Okay, so we have the PNG, that is the abbreviation, file format, portable network graphics, and the file extension is .png. And finally we have the SVG, that is the scalable vector graphics, and the file extension is .svg. So the chapter summary: use the HTML image element to define an image. So this is the element. Use the HTML source attribute to define the URL of the image. Use the HTML alt attribute to define an alternate text for an image if it cannot be displayed. We have the HTML width and height attributes, or the CSS width and height properties to define the size of the image. Use the CSS flow property to let the image flow to the left or to the right. Note: loading large images takes time and can slow down your web page. Use images carefully. And then finally we have the HTML tags, HTML image tags. So here you have the image tag, defines an image. The map tag defines an image map. The area tag defines a clickable area inside of an image map. And finally the picture tag that defines a container for multiple image resources.